The biggest inspiration behind this presentation was about two developers in the last month asked me about how to work with adaptive bitrate streaming. And that is a new area for me. And there's just so many different capabilities that videos can do. So I started doing a lot of reading on it, and then I asked other developers like, hey, how do you work with ABS? And I get a lot of the same responses like, what is that exactly? And now I was inspired to put together some slides and educate devs on the basics of ABS and how to work with it. So I'm excited to go through it. So I'll start out the presentation with some video consumer stats to kind of get an understanding of why it's important to work with ABS, and a little information about adaptive bitrate streaming, which I'll say ABS for short, and what resolution is, bitrate, formats, video codecs, and a Cloudinary API demo, and hopefully have time for a Mux API demo. There will be over 248.9 million individuals by 2022 who watch video-related content on the web. The number is increasing by 5 to 10 million people a year. I think it's a lot more than that, but that's just reported numbers, and will eventually increase exponentially as technology advances and video becomes the primary media experience on the web. This is based on the data from Statista 2021. They actually have a lot of interesting statistics and data about different web topics that they release every year. So I had a lot of fun reading a lot of different pages that was released by them. So definitely check out Statista. They have a lot of good marketing data too. Another interesting data I found during a late night binge of looking up stats on video. I spent a lot of hours doing that for fun. 85% of all internet users in the US watched online video content monthly on any of their devices. And that was like 2018 data. I couldn't find any 2021 data, but I'm sure that's coming up soon. By 2022, online videos will make up more than 82% of all consumer internet traffic in the world. That's 15 times higher than what it was in 2017. And this was reported by Cisco Systems, and definitely that's going to be increasing exponentially. Over 50% of viewers will close a video within 90 seconds if it isn't good quality. How long until you close out a video that's not loading properly? I don't have that kind of patience. Like when I load a video and it's still buffering, or if it's like frozen, I just close it out immediately and find another one to view. So it drives me crazy. Viewers retain 95% of a message when they watch it in a video, compared to 10% when reading it in text. I do have to agree that I retain better when watching a video, but I always prefer to have it as a text option on top of a video in case I'm in a situation where I cannot open or play a video, or if I don't have the patience to watch a video, if I'm multitasking or doing a bunch of stuff, or if I'm running errands and doing other things, it's hard to watch videos. So what does this mean exactly? We need to make it a priority to optimize the user experience and improve accessibility and make better video on the web. So as a developer, how can we easily do that? With adaptive bitrate streaming, also known as ABS. ABS is a technique used to stream multimedia over HTTP. When you load the video or live stream, it will automatically detect your bandwidth and CPU capacity in real time, and it will automatically adjust the quality of your video. The method of streaming over HTTP is when the source of the content is encoded at multiple bit rates, and it will know which one to select in real time. Why would you want to implement ABS to your video? It'll load a lot faster, which is always nice. There will be less buffering time, which will prevent user drop-off rates, and it selects the quality automatically for a better user experience, and of course, accessibility. So TLDR, ABS is basically when you load a video, a live stream, or an on-demand video, it automatically adjusts the resolution and bitrate to fit what your computer and internet can handle. That's like the easiest way to describe adaptive bitrate streaming. Here is an example of an on-demand video with YouTube with one of my favorite developers ever, Laura Gift, if you've seen her on Twitter. As you can see at the bottom, the red indicates the video playing. If you can see at the bottom left, I circled the red part. And the light gray, the second circle, is the video already buffered and ready to play. So if the video is playing faster than it can buffer, then you'll experience the video freezing or being very choppy as it tries to keep up with your bandwidth. Here's an example with live streaming. Twitch has integrated ABS where the quality of the stream will adjust based on the individual watching. It defaults to auto and will change based on the resolution of your hardware. So I put my cursor, I took a screenshot with my cursor over the tool thing that tells you the different resolutions. Since I have a 1080 monitor in auto, it will automatically use 1080, and also he recorded his stream in 1080p. And I can also manually select it as well. So it actually defaults to auto, and then I can change it. On a side note, I went on Twitch to find a random developer live programming to take this screenshot and ran into a streamer named Gravity DD. It's like 3 Ds at the end. He was talking about WebRTC, which I found was quite fitting with working with video. And I was actually going to make a section on WebRTC versus HTTP-based streaming, but then it gets a bit off topic. So you're welcome to send a DM or a message afterwards because I did some research and put information together for that. So to keep it short and summary, HTTP-based streaming, also known as HTTP live streaming, also known as HLS, so I'll be using the term HLS, is the best and cheapest alternative. WebRTC is more designed for peer-to-peer streaming, and it could be costly, but scales very well. So I'll skip this slide. So how does resolution work with video quality? Resolution is the number of pixels spread across the display, and you're all tech people, so you probably know the answers to this. It describes the number of columns vertically by the number of rows horizontally in pixels. So basically, when more pixels fit the monitor, it will be more crispy and clear. There's also aspect ratios to know, such as SD, which is 480p, or HD, which is 1080p or 720p, both having the aspect ratio of 16:9. Not sure if there's a better way to say 16 and colon 9, which is like the widescreen style. The 480 is more like more of a square shape. So keep in mind the aspect ratio names as it is useful when implementing ABS, which I will show you in the demo soon. So how does bitrate work with video quality? Bitrate is the amount of data encoded for a unit of time, megabits per second for video. A higher video bitrate means a higher quality video requiring more bandwidth. What if you have a 10 megabyte per second download speed and watch a stream at 11 megabytes per second? You will get stuck at buffering because your connection cannot keep up with the amount of data being sent to the stream. What do you think uses more bandwidth, 1080p 60 or 1080p 30? 1080p 60 requires more bandwidth as you are streaming at 60 bit rates. And as a developer, You may be on a time-sensitive project, and if it's not something you can learn quickly, then it doesn't get implemented. And I've heard this a lot from other developers when I ask, like, oh, why aren't you implementing this, or why aren't you doing this? Well, this is due. We have to get this in. We have to turn this in by Friday, or whatever. And this brings me to showing you how to use an API to add ABS to video with a very simple demo. And I made it in a way where you can follow along, and I decided I'm going to use CodePen. It's very easy to follow along with. So if you want to open up codepen.io, and I'll show you how to find information in the docs and throw stuff together from that. So like I mentioned, I'll be using CodePen to demo both of these. And yeah, I also just recently learned how to work with Mux. So I spent some time in the docs and got familiar with it. So I definitely want to show that too. And of course, I'm showing Cloudinary as I work for Cloudinary. The two biggest differences with Cloudinary and Mux is that Mux is built for specifically using video for developers. So it has some very powerful video capabilities. With Cloudinary, it's built for developers and non-developers, as there's a back-end UI, but it's a bit of a learning curve. And it has a lot of features and is very robust, as you can apply transformations in real time, such as cropping or changing the aspect ratio manually with transformations. We also have AI integrations that do a lot of fun things, such as increasing the quality automatically or object recognition and so forth. There's like a lot of different features on that. Both APIs can automatically generate and deliver all of these representations of your video from a single file and transcode it to either HTTP live streaming or dynamic adaptive streaming over HTTP MPEG dash. In these demos, I'll show you in an HLS example using files for a file for each representation. The index file, which is the M3U8 file, will have the references to the representation file above for the required metadata. And I'll show that too. I found both APIs being a really good experience in completely different ways. So I would suggest you give both a try, or you can try now if you follow along. And it sounds very confusing when trying to explain, but it isn't too difficult at all to implement once you get past the learning curve and understanding the basics. Or maybe I've jinxed myself, and but we'll see. So let's go ahead and jump to it. Let me share my other screen. Share screen. I probably don't need sound. There's an option to share sound. Window. Okay, this is confusing. I'm looking for the window to share. Chrome tab. Oh, there we go. Okay. Oh no, that's not showing correctly. StreamYards is very interesting. There we go. Okay, so now I have like 10 tabs here that I can switch between to make it easier. So I'll be going back and forth from documentation to CodePen, because when I see like code demos, I always wonder like, where are they finding this information? I'm not sure how they're putting together that information. So I'm going to actually show where each piece is coming from for it to make more sense. So we'll start out with the Cloudinary API, and you don't need to like set up an API key for either of them for the basics. So I start out with going to the Cloudinary video player documentation. So the first thing you want to do when we're doing both demos is kind of like the same process, is putting together your video player. So you need the video player first. So Cloudinary has a video player API that we can use. So the first thing we're going to do is grab the header information. So that way we have the video player, min, and the Cloudinary file. So we're going to copy this. And it says, and if you see the non-minified and minified differences, it mentions that the light package excludes adaptive bitrate streaming. So we need to pull the standard package. So I think this is the standard package. So I will throw this together here, just like that. And should I be posting these links anywhere? Wonder if I can just copy this link and I'll put it in the private chat too, where I'm copying information from. So I posted that in the private chat to be put in the main chat in case. Oh, wonderful. Yeah, I can't open the comments for the video as I have to go through the registration process to see the comments. So I won't be able to reply, but they are reading your comments if anyone has any questions. So we did the easy part. The easiest part of it is copying the headers. And documentation is everything. Like if it's not documented, it's almost impossible to get others to work on it as well. We got that part down. Where's the... Okay, so the video player's up here. So here's a live example. So we're going to copy this. And that's all on the same page. So we're going to call this Adaptive Bitrate Streaming Cloudinary API Demo. Beautiful. And then paste. So of course there's going to be nothing working yet. And then the JavaScript here. And I'm going to paste this in the JS section. So this is just a basic video. But since this is using the Cloudinary's account, I want to use my own Cloudinary account and my own Cloudinary video. So it says cloud, and you can easily do that and put your own video here by replacing the cloud name and the file name. So I'm going to move this away from each other so I can see it easily. And let's go to cloud. Actually, I think I might have it open somewhere. Yeah. So going to cloudinary.com looks like this. And oh, I have to log in again. And then this is my cloud name that shows up here. So I'm going to replace it with my cloud name. And then this is the asset name, which you can find in your media library, and you can upload your files here. And I think like the free account is like up to 25 megabyte downloads, if I recall. You might have to double check that. So I found a video online and I researched free videos and found a roller coaster, and it looked really exciting. So just the name of the file is all you need, roller coaster. And I picked out a 1080 video for an example. So I will call this roller coaster, and that should pull that. Please work. Thank you. So now it's just a basic video player. If you see, this is just a link to Cloudinary. This is a link to maximize the screen, and that's it. Just basics. Aside from the stuff you can add for like HTML5 video. And now let's add some extra stuff. So we have the cloud name, we have the demo player. Actually, we don't need the width part here. Just checking if it still works. I have to test that for any kind of change. And now we're going to add a section for options, for adding the section for the adaptive bitrate part. And that stuff is built in, so you just have to add the transformation. So we'll make an options section, and you can find this information in, if you look up adaptive bitrate streaming for Cloudinary, there's some code samples that'll say this information. Source types, we want to use, I have a weird keyboard, so I don't have all these keyboard shortcuts that other people have. It is one of those minimal keyboards that have like 25% less keys than other people do. So I mess up on my typing a lot. We're going to use HLS MP4. We want the video muted because it'll drive me crazy if it's not. Each time the video plays over and over again and I hear that loud sound. And then we'll make the controls show up, and we're adding source transformations. And this is where we select a streaming profile. And this part's specific to Cloudinary for selecting that. Cannot type, there we go. Streaming profile. And there's a Cloudinary page with the list of streaming profiles. And it's when I mentioned there's like full HD, there's HD, there's SD, and all of that. So full HD, we'll select that because we want all the options up to 1080 format. Nicer. Oops. Format M3U8, which is an audio text file that holds all the information. And hopefully that works. Okay, I'm missing something. Hold on. Oh, I got to do something with options, of course. I'm like, no, where did it go? Doc player, I think it goes after here. Options. Let's see. And this is my biggest fear of always doing live demos, is things not working yet. So now let me take a look at this. Source types, HLS, MP4, muted true, controls true. Source transformations, I do this every time. I make that plural when it should be transformation. I hope that works. There we go. So you see how the little toolbar on the bottom right like popped open? So now we have adaptive bitrate streaming. So it's selected on auto. Actually, I should have played the video without it. Okay, hold on. I'm going to cut this part out and cut this part out just real quick. And then I'm going to play the video without it. So hopefully it's not like cached or anything where it plays normal. Yeah, it's cached because last time I opened this, it loaded slower. But I'm also on fiber connection, so it's hard to test that. Let me put this back. And another fun thing is adding playback rates. So I'll add that so I can do it in slow motion. So, oh, actually, another interesting thing with this is I can make the quality automatically increased, And I think that might be a Cloudinary specific thing too. So let me change this HLS format, and then we'll add MP4 quality auto. This automatically do everything for me. Thank you. And then I mentioned I was adding the playback rates. And this is all mentioned in the documentation too. This is half the speed. This is normal speed. 1.5 is 1.5 times the speed. 2 is 2 times speed. I can do 20 times the speed. Whatever number you want to put there will work. And let's see. So see how that's showing right here? Half the speed. Let's do it in slower motion here. And then maybe we want it at 180p, 1080. And it's fun changing it. See how this is 180p and this is 1080? And then the auto, of course, it's going to show as 1080p. I have a 1080p monitor. I'm on a very good internet connection. And yeah, it's very easy to do. So all I have here is the header information and the quick little video player here, and creating a variable to pull my cloud name, and the video player, and pulling the video the file for the video player, and then the adaptive bitrate options. And let's see, I think I only used one page, but you can also find adaptive bitrate streaming. And here's some information and different ways to do it. So this is where I get the streaming profile. And you can see how it works. And it tells you also the representation streaming profiles. So these are the options. You can do 4K. And let me show you that. Like, for example, I am going to change HLS streaming profile. If we change this to just HD, no, actually, let's change it to SD and see what happens. I broke it. Okay, what did I do? Let's see what happens if I change it back. Maybe it was something else that broke. Oh, I probably have to change the format or something. So I'll just change it to HD. And that should be up to like 720 maybe. Yeah, so the HD profile will give you up to 720. Let's go back to the documentation. SD 4:3 aspect ratio, HD 16:9, full HD 16:9. And you can learn a lot more about it by just going through all the documentation pages, and there's a lot of blog posts on it as well. So I guess I should save this. And now I will show you the Mux demo. Thank goodness I am going faster than I thought I would, so we should have time to do the Mux one. I might be slower at it since it's I'm not as familiar with it. Let me see. I want to make a new pen. We'll call this CFE Mux API demo. Okay, so let me close out all the Cloudinary stuff. And mux.io, mux.com, it redirects. I will post that link. The one above the original demo, cloudinary.com. So first you log in, and also I want to open up a documentation. So I'm going to go like this, Mux video docs. Okay, so this was fun going through. So I like starting from the very beginning, so that way it makes sense. So I'm still wrapping my head around it just as much as you are. Stream videos online. Okay, the first thing you want to do is probably upload a file. Stream video files. Post a video. That's what I want to do. So in your Mux dashboard, there should be a section under video called Assets. And this is where you upload. And when you upload an asset, you use a post body in JSON format. So basically, you just put the file there. So wherever the file is stored, on Cloudinary, you can upload locally, or you can upload from a lot of different options. Here, it's kind of like a completely different style, and I like both methods a lot. It's just on preference. So you put the link to your file, MP4 file here. And I think with Mux, it's like up to 10 megabytes for free download. You might have to correct me if I'm wrong. And then you run the request. And when you run the request, it'll automatically look like this right here. And then you can open up your MP4 and see your playback ID, your asset ID, and information. So you're going to be needing this here. So here comes the fun stuff. Back to the documentation. Like I said, I'm a little slower on this side as this is all new to me. I just learned it this week. So we want a video player, and thank goodness. Enjoy the learning experience with me. We will go back to the documentation and let's see. Okay, so here's use video.js with Mux. And actually we used video.js for the first time and enjoyed it. It's pretty interesting. So I'm going to close out this one, close out this, and I will post this link. This is an important link right here. Just posted that in the organizer chat. Introduction to video.js kit, integrate video.js kit. All the information is here. Here is an npm installation. I am just going to copy and paste the script in the JS file and then the index. So I think this is the information. Copy. So I'm going to copy that. I don't think we're doing any JavaScript, but if we do have time, I might show you some additional features that I learned with Mux. Okay, so we have the header there. Now we need the video. We need a video player to make anything work. With no video player, nothing can happen. So I'm going to copy and actually let me make my title here. Mux API ABS video demo. And then the video player will go there. So we'll copy the video and we'll paste it here. So you can see the brackets asking for your playback ID. So this is where we're going to get that information. So we don't have a broken video. Back to our assets. Playback ID. See, it has a playback ID. playback ID. So I probably don't want to copy the full URL. I just want the ID. Copy. And no, I probably need the URL. We'll see the URL. Okay. Maybe I need to change the type to made note of MPEG URL. See, that's the part I'm confused on, that I'm still learning. I still have a lot to learn. We're not all experts on everything. Is like the different types, the MIME types or meme types. So that is working video file. Oh, I had one more thing I wanted to show on the other demo, but I'll do it after this one. So let's go into the source, the developer tools. More tools, developer tools. So network. Oh, can I have this on the bottom, please? Bottom. There we go. Okay. Let's look at the file. I'm actually looking for it right now. Control R to reload. So let me save it first. Oh, here it is. M3U8 file. So I wanted to open that and show what that looks like. Let me make this bigger and this smaller. So when you upload a file with Mux, it defaults to an M3U8 file. I'm still trying to remember M3U8. I think M3U8. Let me check. M3U8. And this is the information text file that pulls the original asset and changes it on the resolution and other information. So it says if your bandwidth is this, then use this codec and use this resolution. If your bandwidth is this, then do this, then do this. If this, this, this. So this is where that information. So the easiest way to describe it is like the video information file, video audio information file. And video.js is kind of like HLS is like built in. So you won't see options to change it. That's something like with Mux, everything is like kind of like broke into pieces and you have to use a different API or plugin of your choice to implement additional features with that. So I actually was reading about video.js resolution switchers. And it took me a while to find those keywords to figure out like how can I show a section where I can change the resolution. So let's close this out and close this out. And let me open up the GitHub repo. github.com. And the name is KMOSKWIK, I think. Repositories. So after I learned how to use this, I realized it hasn't been updated in a while. Video.js resolution switcher, but I'm sure there's like a lot of other different resolution switchers as well. Oh, perfect. I will definitely use that. I will use the last 15 minutes to show how to change the resolution. And I'm sure there's better ways of doing this, but this is what I was able to learn pretty quickly. And I enjoyed learning it too. So I took this and went through the documentation to add a resolution changer. So right now, it's automatically doing it behind the scenes for changing the resolution based on your bandwidth, but you can't manually change it. So using some kind of like plugin or external tool, you can do that. So I'm going to make a different section called manually change resolution. And we're going to put a different section. We're going to make a video, HTML5 video, and I'll just call it Tessa Player for now. And this is where we should probably put like a class, no, VGS class. And there's a whole list of skins that you can use for your video player. And now we need the source. And this is where we pull that Mux asset again. My nose is running from allergies. Let's go to login, go to video and assets. So the interesting thing about uploading files is if you want it to have MP4 capabilities, you have to put it in the body. So this is what I had to Google, Mux upload asset MP4. Download your videos. Enable MP4 support. So this is what you have to add is MP4 support standard. So this is what I did. I copied this, went back to the asset. I went to create new asset, went like this, and then I grabbed my URL and then deleted this part. And basically, you have to add this to be able to use an MP4 file. So I ran the request, and then this is where I got this as well. So you see the two same videos because the first one I didn't put MP4 capabilities in it. So I wasn't able to do the second part. So I had to redo the asset. So this is where, so this is like the file here. Just testing the file here. This is where I can go MP4. So I think do source. Post that here. I wonder if low works. Here, hold on, I have to try that. Low. I wonder if phone is a word. So there's probably somewhere in the documentation that tells you what words you can use here. Phone. Medium, is that one? Oh, it is. So I'm just gonna do like high for each one because I'm not sure which ones to use. And then I remember reading in the documentation, you can do /SD for the type. And then each one I'm going to put, it's like a MP4 video type. And then you can add the label as well. So 480p is the label with a resolution of 480. And so okay, so we need to add our headers up here too. So let's look for that real quick. So I actually have it copied somewhere. 1 second. I had to, it didn't give me like easy URLs to copy, so I had to copy it myself by going to the github.io version. So I went and found the JS file here. So now it should work soon. Let's see what I'm missing here. The documentation says to call out the video. Just looking through it one more time right here. So this is like the only script to use right here. And then this is where it says the video information type, label SD, P4. Okay, so right here, and then we will put, hold on, let me just copy that. Copy, paste. And then I named my video test player. Test player. This is a model window. Okay, so let's see what I'm doing wrong here. Source, video ID, video ID. Hopefully I get to finish this part. We probably have to have the controls too. Controls. And then this is the Mux data set up, which we shouldn't need any information here at the moment to make it work. And video ID, source. Look at this again, hi.mp4, video mp4, label 480p, resolution 480. Source, video. I also copied some CSS over that I'm just going to make it easy. Let's see, what am I missing? Got the player here. Am I missing any more headers? Source. Definitely broke it. Of course, I'm going to find it later. The server or network failed or because the format is not supported. Okay, so maybe it's an issue with the format. Maybe if I just do that. Oh, okay, so something's working, but the CSS is all messed up. Let's see. Let's do another class. Class video.js and video.js default skin. Maybe that'll fix it. Okay. Progress. So let's see if anything shows up on the right. Not yet. Let's do the other ones. Let's do source. And then I'll debug it from there if we have time. So when you have 480, 1080p, 1080p. No, the source file is working since it's showing up. And then we'll make 144p. And using resolution 144p. Oh, there it is. So see, the toolbar showed up, and there's 144, 480, 1080. This is backwards and driving me crazy. So I'm going to switch this out to go to the top. I think I'm supposed to change what it's pulling from. Maybe this is where I put low. Maybe this is where I put medium. I'm not sure. Let's find out what that looks like. 144p, 480p, 1080p. I'll just keep it like that for fun. So now you can switch it. And if you want the automatic option, that's probably additional coding in that. So you can probably just fork the repo and edit and update it yourself. Or there might be different options for this. But I thought this was like easy to learn because it's well documented with examples. That hasn't been updated in 5 years. And I only figured that out and noticed that right after I was done. So that sums up all of that. Hopefully I have like 30 seconds. I want to go in and show one more thing. And with Chrome Developer Tools. So if clicking on Network, so much going on this page. Let me see. I have to make it bigger. There we go. Here we go. Roller coaster. So you can see this information too in the M3U8 file. You can also see the, yep. So kind of similar to Mux where you can see that data here. So yeah, Chrome Developer Tools is your friend. And yeah, that is it. I think everything is saved. So I'll go ahead and post the links here. And then I'll grab the other link too. I'm done. I'm just posting the links. Public. And then here's the Mux one. Awesome.
Cool. Thanks so much, Tessa, for that. A really great demo. I love the way that you did it right from scratch. Went into CodePen, started with nothing, built it up, and I admire you so much for doing a live demo because I definitely am not brave enough to do something like that.
I'm definitely not either, but I decided, but I put in enough time to know where to find everything in the documentation. So as long as you know where it's at in the documentation, you can't get too stuck for too long.
That is definitely a pro tip, and I know there's a few folks in the audience who are looking at content creation, learning in public, and that is definitely what you did today.
Thank you. And hopefully this helps others to implement ABS. And don't be specific to one option. Check out all the options and see what you can learn the best and what's easiest for you and what works for you.
Definitely. Well, we don't have any questions from the audience today, so I just want to thank you again for coming and speaking to us about that. And yeah, we've dropped all the links in the chat, so anybody who wants to follow along with Tessa can do so. The chat will be there on the recording as well, so you can definitely do that afterwards if you want to.